Once upon a time, I lived in New York City, and it wasn't always a fairy tale, and it wasn't always pretty, but I had good friends, a good fortune, and we dreamed about fame and success.
So I was at the store the other day, and because we're in spring and all the store-bought slime companies like to do this whole like new spring collection of their slime kind of thing, I guess we all do the same thing, but I passed by the section where they house all those slimes, and I was like, maybe I want to try some. I don't know what provoked me to say that to myself, but I did say that to myself. It was very strange. And Karina and Craft City had just sent me their package, I actually have it right here, with their newest spring slime, and that was super cool of them to do. And I was like, I wonder how these other spring slimes compare to that. So I was like, okay, let me get one or two. Well, I ended up with 6. So I guess we're gonna test those and see if any of them are actually good. Does that make sense? Some of these slimes are from Walmart and some of these slimes are from Michael's, but it turns out that they are all from the company Compound Kings. That was not my plan. This is not sponsored. This is not an ad. I paid for all of these with my own money because I wanted to do this like testing thing between all these different types of store-bought slime and see if any of them really were any good compared to like the slime that we all make at home, you know what I mean? But despite me trying to get different types, they really did have the widest variety of types of slime, if you will. They had like, a foam, they had a glitter slime, they had, a cloud and blah, 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 and all these things. So I was like, okay, well, I guess we'll just make a video and see if any of them are good from Compound Kings. But together, you guys and I are going to break down these 6 slimes that I picked up at the store and see how much money I actually wasted.
So let's just jump right into these. I'm going to start off with Glittery, which was one of the 97-cent slimes, so I didn't pay too much for this. It's pretty good for what I paid for it, to be honest. It's more on the putty side than it is on the slime side. It stretches a little bit, but not as well as a homemade clear slime. However, I do love that they put the effort in to put multiple types of glitter into it, rather than just smacking one type of glitter in there and saying, hey, we're done. It wasn't scented or anything, which I guess is fine, but it just smells kind of like chemicals. So I was like, okay, I mean, this is fine for 97 cents. It's better than a lot of the other store-bought slimes. So overall, I would say it's a win, but it would be nice if it was scented or if it stretched a little bit more. Next up, we have Fruity. This was definitely my favorite of the smaller 97-cent store-bought slimes. I love that it comes with Fimo slices to add yourself. You know me, I love mixing things myself. And it is lightly scented, which is a good thing. However, it isn't clear as a result. It kind of looks foggy, and because it doesn't have any color to it, it almost kind of looks a little bit dirty, which I don't love. However, it does stretch, not quite as much as the glitzy one, but it does stretch. And of course, because it is a store-bought slime, it is holdable. This is definitely one that I could see buying for one of the younger kids in my life so that they would have something to mix themselves without having to give them a clear slime, which is a little bit more difficult to maintain when you get a homemade clear slime. So overall, I would say it's mostly a win. I love that it's scented, but I don't like that it looks dirty right out of the bag. So I picked up Bunny Poo here because it was advertised as a fluffy slime, and I was trying to get the widest variety of types of slime. This one was $2.88, which is pretty expensive for a store-bought slime in my opinion, especially because it doesn't really do anything. The color is gorgeous and vibrant. You know me, I love a pink, but it's really, really hard to stretch. And even if you swirl it to Kingdom Come, you don't get any bubble pops out of it, and you can't poke it. It's just, there's just not a lot to it. So I would say this one is not one that I would purchase again. It's definitely not one that I would recommend. And I feel like I kind of wasted my money on this one. I picked up this mix and match blue confetti for a number of reasons. First of all, it's a DIY foam, and I said to myself, well, you should give a foam a shot since you're trying to do different textures. And the second reason was that the top says, quote unquote, super stretchy. I said to myself, well, let's see what they think super stretchy means. Turns out not a whole lot. It's slightly more stretchy than the 97-cent slimes, but it's very difficult to get it to stretch. And this one cost $3. I get that they have the foam beads to mix in, but my goodness, most of the foam beads were stuck in the container and it was difficult to get them out as it was. But I went ahead and tried to mix it. Let me tell you, it was extremely difficult to get the beads to incorporate into this slime. And I know the reason for that is that it's a super thick, quote unquote, clear slime. It's really more on the side of putty. But getting foam beads to mix into a thicker base is always going to be difficult. And frankly, it made a mess all over my desk. Getting them to stay in was not fun. I do not recommend this one for kids because you're going to be upset at the mess that it makes and they could accidentally eat one of the foam beads. And I know that could happen with a homemade foam, but the foams that I make don't spill beads all over the desk. So I didn't love that. And it gets progressively tougher and harder to stretch as you add the foam beads. That was one of my biggest complaints about it. If you're going to advertise as super stretchy, be super stretchy, you know? Last but certainly not least is their Fluffy Clouds Melon Mania. It came with this absolutely adorable charm, and I loved that it came with a charm because none of the others had anything like that. But there is a major con right off the bat, and that's that it's beyond difficult to get out of the container. I had to get a tool and dig and dig and dig. I sped this up a million times just so that you wouldn't have to sit and watch me do this for a good 5 minutes. Truly, it took forever to get it out. But once it was out, it's not a bad cloud slime. I was super shocked. As far as store-bought slime is concerned, this is definitely the best one I've ever had. It stretches, it fluffs up, it smells good. The melon scent actually is really good for a store-bought slime. And I do have to say, you can make this one drizzle. It's not as easy as one of the slimes that you might get online from an Instagram seller, but it does work. So I'm back and forth about whether or not I think this one was worth the money because it was $7, but it is better than the other store-bought slimes. I don't know. I'm conflicted and I'll take your opinion on it. Ultimately, these are definitely not the worst store-bought slimes I've ever had. Some of them were way better than others, as you could see. I definitely can see the appeal and why kids would be attracted to them in the impulse buy line, but of course we don't really know what's in them preservative-wise. I know a lot of parents are scared of borax, but they don't seem to be scared of preservatives, which is kind of strange to me, but live your best life, right? If I had to pick a favorite, it would definitely be the Melon Cloud Slime. First of all, who knew you could even get cloud slime in a store, let alone that it would actually drizzle. For the record, I definitely did not think that that was going to happen. I was a naysayer, like, not out loud, but in my head I was like, there's no freaking way. The thing about this cloud slime, despite the fact that it's pretty good, is that it's not that different in price from what you would get from an online seller. So while I would say it works for like an immediate instant gratification kind of thing, if you're willing to be a little patient, you can get something better online, you know, probably Slime Obsidian if we're being honest. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. It was very enlightening. I don't know, do you think I wasted my money? I'm not really sure, to be honest. I don't feel like it was a total waste. Some of them were not great, but 97 cents isn't the end of the world. So I'm gonna keep playing with these. Maybe I'll do a smoothie with the ones I didn't like. What do you think? I'm kind of scared to put it back into the container though because I'm afraid that I may never get it out again. All the others were really easy to get out of the container. The cloud slime was very difficult, so that is not super. The fluffy is definitely my least, well, it's a toss-up between the blue confetti and the fluffy for who was like the least good. The glitzy and the fruity were pretty good. Fruity was definitely the fave other than the cloud. I don't know. Let me know which one you guys liked the best, if you own any of them, etc. and so on.